Welcome back, everybody. So hopefully by now you've had a chance to watch my 5-minute YouTube clip on the ingredients and introduction to our recipe for tonight, which is our easy crispy skillet chicken with cream sauce. This is a light recipe, and I did get a couple of requests for chicken recipes this week on my fan page on Facebook. Feel free to come and visit me at facebook.com/simplylovinit. So tonight we are going to go ahead and make this great 30-minute meal. It's actually a little less than 30 minutes, but we'll just say 30 minutes because it rolls off the tongue a little easier. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your crackers. I mentioned in the recipe video, that the ingredient recipe video, that you need some Ritz crackers. So you're going to go ahead and take about 8 of those crackers, and I want you to crush them really finely in a Ziploc bag. And I told my husband that I was going to mention this in the video. His suggestion was to actually put them in the bag, fly the bag down, and roll your can of chicken stock across it, which actually worked out really, really well because you need very, very finely crushed crumbs. So there you go. There's a little tip from my significant other. All right, after you're done crushing them, I want you to go ahead and pour the cracker crumbs into a bowl. Make it a shallow bowl that your chicken breasts are going to fit into. And I am using one of my kids' soup bowls. It works really, really well because it's a shallow bowl. Go ahead and take your Parmesan cheese, and you're going to add 2 tablespoons, a little more, a little less, depending on how you feel about Parmesan, and dump that into your cracker crumbs. Okay, and just mix that together. This is now the coating for your chicken. All right. If you haven't already, I want you to go ahead and take your chicken breasts, cut them in half lengthwise and cut them in half widthwise. And what you're going to be left with are little mini chicken cutlets, just like this. And just a quick tip, if you take your chicken breast out of the freezer and it's still frozen on the night you need to use it, pop it into the microwave for 5 to 7 minutes, take it out of the microwave, separate the chicken breasts, and cut them while they're still partially frozen. They cut much nicer when they're a little bit frozen than when they're completely thawed. Season them with a little bit of seasoned salt. I use Tastefully Simple seasoned salt, but you can also use sea salt or any seasoned salt that you have in your pantry. Just season them a little bit. If you don't like to cook with extra salt in your recipes, leave it out. Very easy. Okay, then you're going to go ahead, take your cracker crumb coating. This is what's going to give your chicken its nice crispy coating. And I want you to just dredge, there's a fancy word, your chicken in this coating. Now, typically when you make any kind of a breaded chicken cutlet, it calls for you to dredge it through flour, then through beaten egg, and then through breadcrumbs. This eliminates a lot of the extra calories and work. Okay, so you've got your chicken breasts already coated there. And just a quick make-ahead tip, if you've decided that you want to prepare some of this meal beforehand, the night before you're ready to make it, you can go ahead and you can dredge this chicken up to 24 hours in advance and put it back into your fridge. And you know what? The coating actually sticks to the chicken a little bit better if it's had a chance to sit in the fridge. So when you do go to pan fry it, you'll maintain a lot more of that cracker coating that will make your chicken nice and crispy. Okay? All right, so I've done half the chicken breast. I'm going to throw 2 in here just for time's sake. Okay, just dredge them through here. Also remember too that when you're adding Parmesan cheese to the coating like this, you are adding a little bit of salt to the recipe. So skip that seasoning salt step that I mentioned if you're cooking for a low sodium diet or if you just don't like all the salt. Okay. And as I mentioned, it is dinner time, so my entire family is home, and you may hear voices in the background or a random 3-year-old run across the screen. So if that happens, just know that I am a real mom doing this around a real family, and so I understand what it's like trying to get a meal on the table for a family. Okay, all of our chicken breasts are coated. That was easy, quick. I usually take the leftovers and I'll just sprinkle it on top just so it has a little bit more chance to cling to the chicken. We want to maintain all that wonderful Ritz cracker and Parmesan cheese flavor. Now we are going to go over to the stove and we are going to make this recipe happen. So let's do it. All right, so we are at the stove now, and because my computer decided to crash right as I was ready to cook, I have bypassed a lot of the cooking of the chicken, but that's okay. That just saves us a little bit of time on the video, and we can get right to the rest of the recipe. I do apologize. You might hear some screaming in the background. That would be my husband and my 2 children wrestling on my bed. So whatever it takes to keep them out of the kitchen at dinner time works for me. Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to go ahead and heat up 3 teaspoons of oil in a frying pan at around medium to medium high heat. And what you want to do is you really want to wait for that pan to get nice and hot before you put your chicken in. Because if it's not hot enough, your chicken's just going to sit in that oil, the coating's going to get soggy, and you're not going to get the nice crisp that we want. Okay? So once it's heated up, you are going to add your chicken cutlets to the pan. And one of the things I do want to caution you on is to make sure that you don't crowd your chicken in the pan. The way to guarantee a nice crisp on the outside of your chicken is to make sure there's no steam. And the steam is generated when you have the chicken too close together. So I have actually gone ahead and I've already sauteed all of our chicken. But what you're going to want to do is cook in your pan, okay, around 3 to 4 pieces at a time. And I only had 6 pieces of chicken, so it only took me 2 batches. And you're going to cook about 5 minutes per side. Remember, this is white chicken meat, and so that is going, or white meat chicken. So it's going to take a little bit longer to cook, and chicken should never be cooked to medium rare. We don't want to give anybody food poisoning. So anyhow, once it comes out of the pan, you are going to get this wonderful browned chicken that looks just gorgeous. And you can do 1 of 2 things as it comes out of the pan. You can put it on a plate that has a piece of paper towel that will absorb the excess oil, which is great for health purposes, and it's also great to keep the crisp on your chicken. Or you can do something really neat. You can put it on a cookie rack, just like this. Put that cookie rack into a cookie sheet, and then put it into a warmed oven, okay? And when I say warmed, I'm talking 175 to 190 degrees. Nothing hotter than that or the chicken's going to cook. So go ahead, while you're cooking your chicken, preheat your oven, and then when that chicken is finished, and it's only going to take you about 10 minutes, go ahead and pop it in the oven. All right. So now we have this skillet with some Parmesan and cracker crumb pieces that are browned in there, and the skillet is still hot. Don't put it in the kitchen or in the sink rather, and don't rinse it out, because we're going to use this now to make our easy cream sauce. So what I want you to go ahead and do is preheat or keep it on medium. And by the way, you should have been cooking your chicken on medium. Keep it at medium, and I want you to go ahead and add 3/4 of a cup of your low sodium, fat-free or reduced fat chicken broth to your pan. And it's going to bubble and sizzle a little bit. Then I want you to take your onion and chive cream cheese, and I want you to add, if you're using one of these containers, I want you to add half the container, okay, which is about 4 ounces. You can add a little bit more if you want some extra sauce, but add that to your skillet. And I just want you, with your spatula or your silicone-edged kitchen tool, I want you to just go ahead and just kind of stir gently. And that cream cheese is going to start to melt down very, very, very quickly. Especially if you've bought light cream cheese, there's a lot more water in light cream cheese. And so it's going to melt down really nicely. And I can hear a lot of screaming in the background, so you probably can too. I'm sure no one knows what it's like to have 2 boys at their home with a father to egg them on. But that's okay. Okay, so that's going to just heat through and make our wonderful cream sauce. And that's all that is to it with the cream sauce. So very easy. That's done. In the meantime, I mentioned to you that my side items are going to be green beans and mashed potatoes. Now, the green beans are going to take a little longer than the mashed potatoes, maybe a couple minutes longer. So I have my saucepan here with my handy dandy vegetable steamer. If this is far too fancy for you, as I mentioned, I buy my green beans already trimmed, cut, and washed in a bag. And these bags are typically microwavable, so you can just steam them in the microwave for a couple minutes. I like mine steamed in a saucepan, but it's completely up to you. So go ahead and start cooking those green beans, because we want to have dinner on the table in about 5 minutes. Okay, so those are going to steam. Green beans in a saucepan like this are going to take about 5 to 6 minutes tender crisp. I'm going to drain them off, put a little seasoned salt and butter on them, they'll be ready to go. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I mentioned to you one of my dirty little secrets of instant mashed potatoes tonight. Instead of using fresh potatoes, I'm using my Idahoan potatoes. And no, I'm not getting paid by Idahoan potatoes for that spot, but I do think that these are the most real tasting instant mashed potatoes that exist. So all you do to make these, so easy. If you've never made them, do yourself a favor and go buy some with this week's grocery list. You're just going to heat up 2 cups of water either on the stove or in the microwave. Add it to a bowl, add the potatoes, fluff them up with a fork, and let them sit for a couple minutes. And that's it. So the green beans will be ready in a couple minutes. The potatoes will be ready in a couple minutes. We've got this wonderful cream sauce that's going to get nice and thickened and creamy as soon as the cream cheese melts down. So I'm going to let that continue to cook down till we have a nice smooth cream sauce. We're going to come back, we're going to plate it all up and show you how wonderful this delicious meal looks. All right, so we are ready to put dinner together. We're going to go ahead and start plating up our food. So if you put everything on the table and let people help themselves, do what you need to do. But we are going to, I just want to show you how wonderful and how easy this meal came together. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to portion out my husband's plate. You've got those wonderful steamed green beans. Okay, and I just add a little bit of butter and salt, very, very easy. You've got those cheater mashed potatoes. And they are real potatoes. They're just potato flakes. So you're going to go ahead, portion that up. You've got our wonderful main course, which is our crispy chicken. And I'm going to give him 2 cutlets. You see how beautiful golden brown they are? It smells wonderful. And then we've got this wonderful reduced down cream sauce that we're just going to pour over the top here. And remember, this is not a true cream sauce because we haven't used heavy whipping cream and butter and flour to thicken it and all that great stuff. We've just used low sodium reduced fat chicken broth and some light cream cheese. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it's going to be delicious too. Well, there you have it. Dinner is served, and I hope that it goes over just as well in your family as it always goes in mine. Thanks so much for the watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Bon appetit.